This feels good. Everything back to normal. And with everything back to normal, I guess I just continue to review anything that takes my fancy. Including even video games now. Well, as long as it's on the Xbox 360, but that's just a limitation of my own technology. But of course, the main point of this is that I've got a review to do. And, as you know, we've covered a lot of TV to film adaptations on here. With the forgettable Hey Arnold movie, the insultingly generic Simpsons movie, and finally the complete waste of time that is the SpongeBob movie. And with all of those movies, I gave them a fair chance to do something bigger with their initial product. To make a change to their universe, or to end things with the characters having developed even a little. But what did we actually get instead? 3 villains who'll never have anything to do in their own respective series, plot lines that won't have any continuity to affect the actual series themselves, and basically just 3 episodes of their own respective series stretched out to about 90 minutes. So let's find out if this streak continues as we look at Recess the movie. Now, Recess was an animated show produced by Disney and ran for 4 years between 1997 and 2001, following the lives of 6 4th graders in dealing with the complicated system that is their own school playground. The show was beloved by critics and the general public, which is why it's as well known as it is. So, like every other animated show of popularity, it was only a matter of time before it got a movie. Which of course is where Recess School's Out comes in. Almost a finale to the show itself, though that honour actually belongs to the straight-to-DVD movie called Taking the 5th Grade. Which seems a little ridiculous, given that at the end of this movie it puts it at a complete perfect point to finish off the series as a whole, so continuing on after that seems a little pointless. Now, given that the critical reception 2 years prior for Doug's first movie was lukewarm at best, School's Out was in the prime position to show what could be done to make a movie from a TV show. So, let's see how well they did as we look at Recess, School's Out. So we open on the opening scene from Monsters vs. Aliens.
How many times do I have to tell you this? UFOs don't exist, and we're never gonna see...
Wow. His energy signature is massive.
Holy Cheez-Its! What do we do? No one ever told us what to do. The only reason I took the job is because you never have to do anything!
Seriously, did I put in an episode of Justice League by accident? Anybody? Because, you see, it's a weird habit of this movie to half the time actually look like the Recess movie you might expect, and the other half to look like something that should have Joel and the bot sat making jokes. So the 2 guards get knocked out by Attack of the Coneheads here as we move on to everyone's favourite school. No, different school.
Oh, man.
No. Okay, now that isn't even a cartoon anymore. You want to know what's really, really stupid? I'm 22 years old and I've only just realised that the Recess intro is purposely meant to sound like the same intro from The Great Escape. So we see some of the side characters from the main series, and unlike either The Simpsons, Hey Arnold or SpongeBob, these characters will actually play a part in the story. You know, instead of just being cut back to, barely mentioned, or just flat out forgotten. But of course, we all know what we're waiting for. So where are TJ and the gang?
Furthermore, I want to inform you all that I have a fat, saggy butt, which I like to scratch every hour on the hour. Also, I want to apologize to all of you for being such a mean principal, taking away hall passes, giving guys all recess detention, refusing to accept sick notes just because it doesn't look like a guy's mom's signature, making kids stand at the wall for 10 whole minutes with no break.
Now, impressively, everything shown in the opening sequence, every character, every little bit, will actually come back into play during the movie. Because it knows that they have a huge cast of characters and that they can only do so much with them. Someone like the Hey Arnold movie, where they just cut it down to Arnold, Gerald, and Helga, or the SpongeBob movie that seemed to completely forget that it had side characters. Recess shows who will get the attention in the movie straight away, and what the characters will use to help them, essentially making all of this the biggest Chekhov's gun moment in a kids film. So TJ gets caught, but as the school year is almost up, he, along with everyone else, is all set to head home. Really, guys? Did you spend, what, all of 5 seconds picking that? What's next? You used 1 as the loneliest number for TJ's sad, depressing ride back through town?
1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Oh, well, what do you know? Makes me wonder what else is on this soundtrack.
Get your motor running.
Over there!
Wait a minute. All of those songs are from the same era. All of them are from the 60s. Something very strange is going on here. Although I guess it could be worse.
I'm a goofy goober. You're a goofy goober. We're all goofy goobers.
Yep, definitely could be worse. So TJ learns that everyone else is heading off to distant camps. Something you would have thought they'd have told him about much sooner than the day before they leave, but that's low on the list of narrative issues that come up in this movie. So what does TJ decide to do then? He mopes. He mopes so hard that I keep expecting this to play. Having little to no choice left, TJ heads off to the only other kid in town, Randall.
Going to a playdate with Randall. Man, I can't believe I sunk this low. This is the worst summer ever. What the heck?
Oh god, TJ, run! It's Archie's Weird Mysteries! Save yourself! Now you see, this is where we begin to slip toward the bad side of the plot, where logic and reasoning slowly disappears. Because the antagonist for the movie thought that the best place to hide their illegal activities, which, as you can see, aren't very subtle, was in the middle of a town, inside a school, that is literally surrounded by houses. You'd think, of course, that they'd choose somewhere out of the way and inconspicuous instead of in the open, because their location isn't important to their plan, only to the backstory. But at the same time as being a colossally stupid move on the part of the antagonist, it does kind of show how crazily fixated they are on their own ideas. That was weird. Something is wrong here. Very, very wrong. So, after being chased away from the school, TJ investigates and discovers that strange things are going on. I've really got to wonder how nobody else in the surrounding area has noticed any of this, because every other adult couldn't possibly all be at work at the same time. TJ tries to warn both the police and his parents, who, in a typical sort of fashion, don't believe him.
Is this gonna be like one of those horror movies where we open the door and everything's normal and we think you're crazy, but then there really is a killer robot and the next morning you find me impaled on a weather vane? Is that what this is, Lisa?
All in the report. We'll take care of those mad scientists.
Yeah, no one's gonna levitate any safe on my watch.
I can only imagine that if this movie was made today in the current social climate, all he would have had to done was say he saw something vaguely suspicious and the police would have been all over it like flies on crap. Seeing no other option, TJ goes to get Principal Prickly, who actually does go with him just to prove TJ wrong.
Ah, the things I do for you kids. Sometimes I think you were put on this earth just to...
Wow, security in schools really has gotten over the top. So with no one believing him and Principal Prickly seemingly turned into a pair of smouldering shoes, which, now that I think about it, is never explained later on, TJ decides that his only option is to get the band back together.
The band! I want the band! The band? Band! The band? The band!
I mean, the gang. Get the gang back together. I swear, there is something about this movie that is really throwing me off. By blackmailing his sister, TJ is able to gather everyone up in what appears to be less than a few hours. Getting Vince from baseball camp, Gretchen from space camp, and Gus from army camp.
Wow, I can't believe we're all back together. Even all you guys who weren't in the montage.
Yeah, how come you didn't use me in the montage? I thought my story was pretty interesting.
Rolf,
Huh?
want to get back together?
Okay.
Good.
Classic.
Given that we're only 20 minutes in, I'll fill you in on the next 10 minutes in a single sentence. Potential plot holes are filled in. Moving on, TJ finds the bald-headed guard is impersonating Principal Prickly, and how that works is beyond me, and that the real Prickly is in trouble, so they have to go and save him, which results in them crawling through what must be the biggest air vents in the world. Because compare them with Die Hard.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
And you notice that in this one, somehow it can hold all 6 kids pretty much side by side so that they can all see. Which makes me wonder if there's also some giant seats with cup holders so they can sit in comfort as they watch the next part of the movie.
Benedict, please.
No, let me make this clear to you, Lazenby. We have a thing called a window of opportunity. If we miss the window of opportunity, then the project fails. And if the project fails, then I get very, very angry!
What? Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
You know what I'm wondering? It's how the hell did they get everything set up here? Because from what I can see, there's multiple gantries, giant vents, and a ceiling that looks like it goes about 4 stories high. So either this one elementary school has a huge hall for no adequate reason, or the bad guys remodeled the school after they took over. Either way, this feels like it's a big stretch for them to have comfortably set up in the school. Which does make me wonder a little about why they didn't have the gang stumble across this outside of the town, thus setting up the narrative a little better. Because these guys nailed the antagonist's motive and drive in being a complete sociopath who just wants to get his way. But the logic just fails when you think about the fact that this is all going on in the midst of a very public place. The gang get found out and end up being chased through the school.
Ninjas! Ninjas! Why'd they have to be ninjas?
Seriously, where the hell is he finding these guys?
What are you gonna do with these guys?
Oh, nothing really. I just always wanted to open a door to a room where people are being trained like in James Bond movies.
Wicked.
Yeah.
So, despite the fact that all of them could escape, TJ ends up being captured and finds the real Principal Prickly, who for some reason is sans pants. Hey, why come back to me? I'm as clueless as you are on that one. I'm actually wearing pants today. Moving on, our antagonist, Philium Benedict, comes to talk with Principal Prickly and TJ.
Not after I instructed my men to take such special care of you.
Special care? That's what you call gagging me, tying me up, and taking away my pants?
Had to, Pete. Otherwise, you might run off and betray me like you did the last time.
Obviously, he's never played Metal Gear Solid 2, because that proves that all you need to flee is a hand covering your junk. Preferably your own. After Philium leaves, Principal Prickly reveals exactly who he is.
That's right, Detweiler. That man is a rogue teacher.
So what? Say it again. Say it again.
That man is a rogue teacher.
There is not a person on the planet who can make that sound as serious as it's meant to be. So, Principal Prickly's flashback is to the late 60s. Wait a minute. The 60s? That's where the music's from. Could this movie actually be trying to go above and beyond? Is this movie actually trying to be intelligent? I mean, I'm so used to crap that could be what's wrong. That the movie for once is actually good. Outside the school with the gang, Gretchen begins to piece together Philium's plan.
Luna Pergam must be some Italian chick. Lunae Perigium, of course!
What are you talking about, Gretchen?
Don't you understand? Lunae Perigium is no lady, it's an event. Look! Once a month, the moon reaches the point where it's closest to the Earth, lunar perigee.
Apparently Gretchen is a member of the Plot Convenience Store. I really want to take a good look around there for myself one day. I hear they do great deals on Deus Ex Machinas. TJ and Prickly manage to escape, but are soon caught again, whilst the gang go to recruit every other kid so that they can stop the bad guys. Which makes you wonder how they're able to gather everyone up so quickly, and how nobody notices these kids are missing. Unless, of course, that car is the same model as the one from the Muppets movie.
You can't drive to France, Walter.
Yeah, it's way too far.
Then maybe we should travel by map.
Good idea, Fozzie.
Meanwhile, Philium does his obligatory monologuing about his evil plan.
You see, all I have to do is modify the moon's orbit ever so slightly, and tide levels on the eastern seaboard rise 8 feet. Move the moon over here, and the currents that warm California suddenly become ice cold. Summer, as we know it, will become a thing of the past. And without summer, no summer vacation.
Game, set, match.
Yes, because causing animals to suddenly starve to death through lack of food, crops all over the world to suddenly die, and I'm assuming a large amount of economic and societal issues. All of which just to get rid of one small event. Sure, that'll work out fine for your plans to be... what was it?
They might even elect that person President of the United States.
Yeah, he's off the deep end level of crazy. Now the problem is that the balance between his goal, which is mind-bogglingly stupid, and his actual well-written single-mindedness to it, really causes a split in my opinion. Because whilst this would really work if it was just him doing this on his own, and would make it far more interesting because it would show just how mentally he's slipped, having a team of scientists helping him for no reason when it's kind of obvious that A, this would bring severe effects on the planet, and B, it's obvious he can't do it himself, makes it seem like one of the major weak spots in this film as a whole. TJ and Prickly are put into a cage that apparently either the school or the bad guys just happen to have, with TJ believing that Prickly is just like Philium and doesn't care about summer vacation.
I'll let you in on a little secret, Deadweiler. Every adult you've ever known was a kid at some time in his life. You think we don't remember summer vacation? Riding bikes down by the creek, catching pollywogs in a jar, camping out under the stars? Well, you're wrong. Some days I sit there in my office looking out at you kids on the playground and I think they don't know how good they've got it. In a few years, they're all going to be grown-ups like me, and all those good times will just be memories for them too. So go ahead. Put a whoopee cushion in my chair. Cover my carpet with fake vomit. Make fun of my big, saggy butt. But don't you ever say I don't care about summer vacation, because those memories are the last part of childhood I got left.
When you've got moments like that, I really don't understand why other parts of this narrative are as weak as they seem. Scenes like that make everything stand out so much more. So the gang outside leads the kids in an attack on the school, whilst TJ and Prickly escape as well, all of them meeting up and heading to the main hall to stop Philium.
You've got no minutes left, Phil. This is my school and I want it back.
Sorry, Pete. You're just gonna have to wait until I finish making the world a better place.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure that your 23 guards are really going to be able to do something against the 50 or so kids who have managed to trap, trick, and terrify all of them. As Fillion makes a move to continue his evil plan, it's TJ's turn to do a speech.
You got it all wrong, old man. Your plan will never work. Sure, maybe your crazy laser beam can move the moon. Maybe you can even make it snow all summer. Maybe you can get rid of long afternoons playing baseball, or sunny days down by the lake, or warm nights camping out under the stars. But that won't stop us. We'll ride our bikes through the snow. We'll play kickball in the slush. We'll camp out in igloos. You may take away summer, but you'll never take away summer vacation.
Once again, you've managed to capture something so perfectly, so why? Why are the characters so dumb that they just stand around while the bad guys are powering up the laser?
That hurt, Muriel. But I'll forgive you if you'll just come back to me.
Ha! I'd rather eat playground dirt.
That can be arranged, my dear.
Not before I take you down.
Take me down? Yeah, right. You and what army?
Me and this army.
The teachers.
Oh, it's because you needed a Deus Ex Machina to bring up something that was literally never mentioned before now. Wait, what? Yeah, speaking of weak points, here's another one. The final fight begins when the teachers all suddenly appear, which only seems to add an extra 7 or so people to the fight. But the issue here is the fact that the idea of bringing the teachers was never brought up before this. We see Miss Finster go to the cops, but nothing in that scene makes it seem like she's going to get help. Also, how during this massive plan of attack by the kids, did they not see the teachers and the teachers not see them? So a fight breaks out, and Vince's subplot is finally resolved as he destroys the machine with a baseball. What's that? I never mentioned a subplot about Vince and his baseball? Yeah, there's a reason for that. You see, the subplot is tiny and is brought up early on when Vince is at camp. He's for some reason not able to throw properly. However, it is also not brought up again until this very moment. But all bizarre plot threads aside, at least we get a kaboom.
Look out! She's gonna blow!
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom!
So everything returns to normal. TJ and Principal Prickly have another heart-to-heart talk before TJ runs off to enjoy the last 2 weeks of summer vacation, thus ending the movie.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What even the hell? Okay, did someone slip me some acid? Or did the animation department just go nuts? Okay, yeah, so that's a thing. Let's talk about this movie. I can safely start by saying that this movie is good. Maybe a little confused at times, which I'll get to, but it's good. The general plot is over the top, but it kind of needs to be so that the kids truly have something to be defending, as there's no really way to do something like saving a community centre. Mainly due to the fact that this isn't the 80s and that the movie would like to make you think of the 60s instead. Which I have already talked about in another video, which I'll link in the description, but here I'll cover the base points. The movie uses its odd link to the 60s well, successfully linking the peace movement that most likely adults watching the movie either experienced or were on the tail end of, with the hope and optimism of the kids in protecting summer vacation. And whilst the animation is wonderful as well as the acting, there are some major narrative issues that really drag the movie down. The Deus Ex Machina of the teachers, the subplot of Vince and his pitching, which really should have been brought in more if they really wanted it to mean something. There's a couple of others that I didn't talk about during the movie, like where the kids turn off the power, forcing the scientists to go and turn it back on, which results in the scientists getting locked into the same room they were trying to get into anyway, yet unable to turn the power on. And then there's another with multiple guards falling down a hole, which doesn't really make any sense once you think about it. But at the end of the day, in comparison to other movies in the same genre, this one stands out above them. The characters manage to develop, the story doesn't feel quite as half-baked, the antagonist actually feels like he has a personality instead of being one-dimensional. And whilst this may not have been the end of the series, if it had been, this would have really done it justice. But for now, I've been Tyas, and this has been Tyas Looks At, and I'll see you next time.
Drop your silver in my tambourine. Help a poor man build a pretty dream. Give me pennies, I'll take anything. Now listen while I play my green tambourine.
Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone!